Slave jails in this area. One, of course, was Lumpkins, and that's 15th Street, what was 15th Street. And then about halfway between Lumpkins and Main Street, there was another one that belonged to Dickinson and Hill. Then at 15th and Main was yet another one. And there was also one at Cary and 15th. There was one at 17th and Broad as well. And it seems that most of these businesses clustered around those slave jails. But I'd never thought of it, but obvious reason was if you're dealing in slaves, you got to keep them somewhere. And they would rent rooms or, space from these slave jails to keep their slaves in while they were selling them or hiring them out. I've got about 137 different businesses that either hired slaves or sold them. By hiring, I mean they hired them out from owners to go work for somebody else, like at Tredegar, or sometimes they went to the mines in Midlothian, or to private plantations that didn't want to necessarily buy extra help, they would rent it. Some of the newspaper ads I thought were interesting. I thought I'd just read a few so you could get a feel for what was advertised in the paper with people doing different aspects of the, I'm doing it again? Thank you. Okay, J. Thompson Brown, who incidentally was a big developer in Richmond, for hire, a first-rate carriage driver, a housemaid and seamstress, and a boy 19 years old who has been accustomed to waiting in the house. That was advertised in the Richmond Dispatch in 1862. E. A. J. Clopton. The subscriber begs to return his acknowledgments to his friends and patrons and inform them that he still continues in the business of hiring out Negroes, renting out houses, and collecting claims. That's 1860 newspaper. B. A. Cock. To remain in or near the city, an able young Negro man about 22 years of age, also a woman, a good cook and washer, about 45 years old, and a good teamster who's not restricted to the city, for sale or for hire for the balance of the year. That was 1861. J.P. Bell. This is a card, which usually meant they were announcing a new business. Auctioneer, 122 Main Street. Immediate attention given and prompt returns made for all consignments. Particular attention given to the sale of Negroes. Charges moderate. October 1862. Betts and Gregory, who was up here at 17th and Broad, 1860. Cook, washer, ironer for sale. We have for sale privately a #1 bread, meat, and pastry cook, who is also an excellent washer and ironer. 24 years of age, strong, healthy, and sound, and free of encumbrance. Her owner, in order to secure for her a good home in this city or state, will sell her for less than her real value to any person in need of a woman with such qualifications, and to effect this will accommodate the purchaser if it is desired by settlement in 5 months' time. Okay, the Cary Street Jail. S. Grady, proprietor, corner of 15th and Cary. For sale, to remain in or near Richmond, a fair-sized, pretty good-looking man, farmhand and driver, 42 years old, apply at the Cary Street Jail. Davis, Dupre and Company, who Dupre was also up near 17th and Broad, will give their entire attention to the sale of Negroes, publicly and privately. Oddfellows Hall, corner of Mayo and Franklin Street. This is when Dupre went into business with one of the Davis brothers. He had originally been up at Broad Street. So basically, all the way down from 15th Street, where we were at Lumpkins Jail, all the way down to Cary Street was a solid line of slave dealers, whether hiring out or purchasing or selling. In there were 4 slave jails that they could use. Up here, from Broad Street, I guess down to Franklin, it was, up and down the street, it was full of slave dealers. And then they had 2 jails there. One that belonged to the people that kept the Northrop slave. When he was kept there, he wasn't a slave, but he was kept there as a slave. So I think that pretty much sums it up.